Sound check. I want to make sure you guys understand that I skipped probably an hour. Um, was it that much? 1 hour 30? Yeah, I skipped about an hour because I kind of went through it here by bit. I realized, well, I think that first hour was what I had already covered, right? And I think that was a month or two ago where I covered a lot of these statements from Janie as they came out, because in that one Facebook group there were there was somebody who chopped it up into like 10-minute, 2-minute, 5-minute segments, and I thought I had them all, but I didn't, right? So what happened was that well, this was sent to me, and I love it. I think that I missed quite a bit, but I think in the beginning, I got everything pretty much covered. So I'm going, of course, through everything. My plan is to go through all of it. However, prioritizing is key for me. And before I put you all to sleep, I prefer to go to the latter part because I realize there are quite a few things that I have not covered yet, which is motivating to me, to say the very least.
Well, you can talk through the mic like I'm doing, because I would never be able to keep up with all your guys' typing all at once. Would I hear a car pull in my driveway where I live in the RV?
Let's see what she says.
It depends.
Aha, yeah. Yes, you would. Yes, you would hear a car, and your dog would hear the car, and your dog would bark, and you would get right. Who is on my property? You would immediately go up. Deceptive.
If it's a newer car,
You would still hear it. Your dog would, huh, huh? I know how dogs go when they're asleep and all of a sudden they hear something unfamiliar and they raise their head and they look around and especially your dog, he will bark. You will know. But the fact of the matter that she doesn't want to say yes to this question is highly sensitive. Of course, now we know what the neighbor had told us, right? The neighbor had said to us he heard a car around 6 times back and forth between midnight and 5. I still don't know if there was no car after 5, or if he simply didn't hear a car after 5 because he went to sleep, or went in the house, or went somewhere where he wouldn't have heard it. By the way, this area is so dark and lonely at night. Yeah, of course you hear everything that's going on. You hear when somebody's coming through. So she doesn't want to tell us because she doesn't want to be put in the position where she would have to reply to whether or not she heard a vehicle at night. That's why she spent so much time telling us, oh, somebody broke. By the way, she didn't say my neighbor broke into my trailer. She didn't tell us what was taken. None of that. But she wanted to make it sound like. I don't know if she did or didn't. I don't know what she knows. I don't know if somebody even broke in there. But she made it sound like it. She doesn't put the ATV there because he may steal. Bullshit. If your neighbor walked onto your property at night, your dog would wake you up. You don't have a gun or what? Living so secluded, living so, I don't know. Maybe not. But that wouldn't have anything to do with the ATV. But look at how sensitive this area is to her. It depends. She does not want to reply or respond to a car being in and out during that night. She wants deniability. Interesting to see this again.
probably not. But if they
Probably not. Your dog would hear if there was a car in that area where you have no lights at night, it's quiet. You talk about how quiet it is there. If your doggy heard a car that dog would be would jump up and let you know, or he would talk to you, like you would say.
Parked on the side of the road, I wouldn't hear it.
But they didn't. You raked on your property because that's where whatever vehicle came, there was activity there.
My dog alerts me when people come in my yard. So when he hears a voice, he barks.
Listen how carefully she is wording these things. Notice before her pattern. She thinks slowly but talks fast. And she keeps correcting herself mid sentence. That's one thing she does. She catches herself. But here, she paces she treads extremely carefully. So when he hears a voice, he barks. Of course, now we know what the neighbor had actually stated to police. Before we heard the rumors of a rock party, and maybe, just maybe, that's what he told somebody. That he said, oh, you know what? I know what this house is all about. I know what these people are all about. There were people coming in and out. That's how it may have been interpreted by him early on. I don't know. Or by somebody that he told that the car kept coming in and out. And people say, yeah, I know what that is. I know these types of people. And that's why we can never interpret. We have to listen to exactly what people are saying to us. So even if somebody says, listen to my life, I got the neighbor calling in, and I think it's the neighbor, or maybe, please don't listen, people. Because when you do, and you're bringing this conversation into my live chat, well, actually, if it's within limits, that can clear up some confusion. But the best thing is to not pay attention to it and only focus on what is useful. We need to know, what did somebody actually state. From there, the interpretation part, that will come. Don't worry about it. That will actually come to us as long as we walk the right path. But the moment that we allow ourselves to think uh, in directions that may lead to a dead end, or lead off the cliff, or lead even further away from the location that we need to look at, not a good idea, guys. But this is so interesting how she changes her pattern, because this threw her off guard. And the good thing about a question like that, it's not accusatory. So she can't say, there you go again, you always think I did something on my son. Okay, let's see.
How would anybody know the kids were home from school? And 2, how would they know when the kids were outside playing? And 3, when I seen Malaya standing outside of when I opened up the RV door, she wasn't.
Let me guess, Malaya told him.
She wasn't out of breath, and she wasn't.
How did she tell them? Did police take the electronic devices?
Crying or yelling for those kids. Well, you can talk through the mic like I'm doing, because I would never be able to.
She's not making an accusation, but she is asking questions, trying to get your mind to go into an area that is away from her. Let Malaya handle some of that load. Let her carry some of that weight. That is her attitude right now. Shit, this woman just took off, and now we're stuck with all the problems. Let her. Look at her. Ask her these questions. Leave us the hell alone. That is exactly what her message is. And of course, she's not able to be directly accusatory. She knows the Derwood story is, she was probably there when Daniel and Derwood came up with these ideas. So, but it's a go-to place, because for a minute, a lot of people lost track of them and started to look into Malaya. Her family gotten to the point where it was so much that Belinda even, and rightfully so, in that situation, absolutely, that was the right thing to do, in my opinion, and call the reservation and say, listen, there is this rumor going around. I didn't start it, somebody else started it. I know it's probably bullshit, but for my own peace of mind, I have to ask you this question. Is there any chance? Is there any way you can check? No, I'm not accusing you of kidnapping or being a part of it. I'm saying, is there any way that your local, whatever, do you have a police force there? I don't know, whatever you may want to call it. If they could just check to make sure none of the people who live on the reservation, you know, but it didn't happen. And she knows it, and she knows how ridiculous it sounded, and she doesn't want to make it worse, but she loves the effect that it had for a little bit, that people didn't look at her that much and looked at Malaya. And that's her go-to mechanism. Sorry, I already talked about this the last time.
Typing
I went by
all
too
at
fast.
once. Would I hear a car pull in my driveway?
Would I hear a car? So now, of course, we know she's thinking about that night. The reason for people asking at that time, like a month or so ago, was, of course, would you have heard if somebody, a relative of Malaya's, would have pulled up with the car, gotten the children in there, and taken them away? But I believe her mind is going also towards that particular night, because she knew what the neighbor had told police. Maybe not the details, but something was said. She knew about it. Otherwise, Daniel and her would have not gone through such lengths to trash the neighbor and try to discredit him as a thief, as a what have you. Right? Remember when Daniel said, oh, this neighbor tried to get. Yeah, right.
Where I live in the RV.
And she reads the whole question out. Normally, she can't wait to reply, and she does it fast. In this case, she is reading out the question very slowly to buy herself some time. Would I hear a car? This is a very simple question. There are really only three answers, right? There's yes, yes, always or generally speaking, yes, absolute yes, or no, which of course is not likely. I mean, you know, even if you have thick walls or whatever, you would hear some cars, and the other is, well, sometimes. Very simple. Let's see one more time.
It depends.
Look how long of a break she's taking. It depends. It depends on whether or not it can get me in trouble.
Depends if it's a newer car.
Okay. If it's a newer car. What kind of cars are the people there that you know driving?
Probably not. But if they.
Follow-up question. Would your dog hear a newer car coming into your driveway or right next to the driveway?
Parked on the side of the road.
Well, the road is far away, right? They would have to, if they remove the children, have to come closer.
I wouldn't hear it. My dog.
You remember what the property looks like, right? Not the clearest image, but it'll do. This is the main road, Gallup Road, right? And this is the, whatever it is. Yeah, it's kind of far to her trailer back there. Okay. What side of the road? You mean this road here? Okay. So, if this is where they park, then how did they remove the children? And you said the children are noisy. They would have to come inside and get the children. This is complete nonsense. Your dog would have alerted you. But what we know now is, of course, the sensitive area is about car activity during the night, not in the morning hour from some relatives of Malaya's.
Dog alerts me when people come in my yard. So when he hears a voice, he barks.
Ah, you see?
The RV, it depends. If it's a newer car, probably not. But if they parked on the side of the road, I wouldn't hear it.
And this also makes no sense. Listen. If it's a newer
Probably
car,
not.
if it's a newer car, probably not. Now listen.
But if they parked on...
But, you see what's going on here? Forget what she said. The but eliminates this. She wouldn't feel a need to say it. Listen to the language. If it's a newer car, probably not. But if they parked on the side of the road, I wouldn't hear it. You just said probably not. So to say but, you would... The correct way, the way it would flow would be, if it's a newer car, no, the correct way would be like, yes, I would hear it, but if they parked on the side
of the road, I wouldn't hear it.
Right. So if it's a newer car, probably not, but doesn't make a difference. New or not, if they are close to the property, she will hear it. Did I go through too fast? Okay, I wish I had it on the screen, but I'm not gonna bother. I want to get through this very quickly. But I'll do it one more time. I want you guys to hear actually what she really is saying here. This is really interesting, okay? What I hear, car pull in my driveway, and she said the question was in your driveway, okay?
B, it depends. If it's a newer car, probably not.
If it's a newer car, probably not.
But if they park...
But, forget it. You would hear it if it come into your driveway. But if they parked, you see? Probably not. But if they parked, for sure I wouldn't. I think you guys
on the side of the road,
understand what was said.
I wouldn't hear it.
Exactly. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about somebody entering your yard. We are not talking about somebody leaving the car at the side of the road. And if they walked into your property...
My dog alerts me when people come in my yard.
So, how would they have gotten Jack and Lily out? Right? But this is, of course, about the night. In and out, 6 times.
So when he hears a voice, he barks.
Right.
I get up and I look to see if anybody's there. My dog usually sits in...
You get up all the time, yes.
...the window. But that morning, my dog was sleeping with me in bed.
Yeah, sure. Sure. So that was the only time that somebody must have come on your property without your dog alerting you. Isn't that something? Would you hear if a vehicle came down the driveway? If it's a newer car, probably not, but
when he heard the kids...
When he heard the kids, okay.
Kids yelling, or kids talking,
Yeah, kids talking. Let's keep it real here, okay? Because you said when the dog hears people talking, right?
I should say, sorry, talking. Kids yelling, or kids talking, I should say.
Again, a big conflict here. One more time, guys.
I was typing all at once. Would I hear a car pull in my driveway where I live in the RV? It depends. If it's a newer car, probably not. But if they parked on the side of the road, I wouldn't hear it. My dog alerts me.
Probably not, but wouldn't hear it. That is not a situation where there needs to be a but in between. There should be an and. Probably not. And if it was parked on the side of the road, I wouldn't hear it for sure. That would make sense. But this is creating opposites. But these are not opposites. Probably not. And I wouldn't hear it are not the opposites. Yes, I would hear a car if it came in my driveway, but not necessarily if it parked by the road. If it's a newer car, especially, that would make sense. But she's telling us already with the but that this is nonsense. It doesn't make a difference if it's a newer car or not, because you would hear it, because your dog would alert you, even if it was a very quiet engine. That's why she immediately says, my dog alerts me. That comes to her mind. But she doesn't say, my dog alerts me of vehicles. Oh, I forgot. These new cars would be too quiet or at the side of the road, or he wouldn't hear. My dog alerts
When
me.
people come in my yard.
Yes, and that's what you were suggesting.
So when he hears a voice.
So, okay.
He barks.
Not when somebody's yelling, when he hears a voice.
I get up and I look to see if anybody's there. My dog usually sits in the window. But that morning, my dog was sleeping with me in bed.
Yeah. Doesn't matter, your dog would still hear it. You see how she tries to wiggle her way around a made up story that she would like you to pay more attention to? That morning my dog was sleeping with. It doesn't freaking matter. You just told us your dog would hear it if people were walking in to your yard. It doesn't matter where he was. Yeah, maybe he was sleeping, but dogs wake up immediately. Immediately. These people are ridiculous, guys. They are ridiculous beyond words. And they actually think they're gonna get away with that.
When he heard the kids yelling, or kids talking,
So, which is it? Yelling or talking? Of course, that morning the kids could not be heard at all. But she wants to differentiate between the types of sounds that would get her dog to react, even though she knows that dog is reacting. Yelling, talking, what have you.
should say sorry, talking. Kids yelling, or
Again, she wants to make it sound like unless somebody's yelling, the dog is not going to wake up when he's asleep. Bullshit.
kids talking, I should say sorry, talking. My dog was in bed with me, and
That makes no difference. Your dog was in bed with you or not. Your dog would have heard that. I know that about. You guys have dogs. Listen, your your dog is in bed with you. Doesn't make a difference, right? When a dog hears something, they hear it in a very loud manner, a very amplified manner. That they are not. It's almost like if somebody plays a drum solo next to us when we sleep. We will wake up.
I told him.
I told my dog, okay, you had a conversation with your dog. Cool. Let's verify it. Oops, no, sorry, we can't,
It's the kids outside playing.
I'm sure your dog probably looked at you like, oh God, why don't you shut up, crazy woman?
He shut right up.
Yeah, you're in control. We know that. That's what you like. And a dog is easy to control, unlike your ex-husband, right? That's why you're a hermit, and that's why you gave him a male, your doggy Tucker. You like that. The fact that, your dog will shut up when you tell him to shut up. I get you, Janie. I don't want to, but I do.
Then he barked again.
Why?
When Daniel was yelling.
Right. There is no way somebody would have taken the kids that morning without the dog waking Janie up. And I'm not getting this through what I think the dog is all about, but through her language. She told us the sensitivity. Well, I said here, what triggers them and why? What triggers people? Well, the trigger is whatever triggers her dog to wake her up. That was a sensitive area here. So,
Out the back door for the kids. I didn't pay any attention to them because
nonsense, complete nonsense. And she told us the same way Logan's statements revealed to us how horrible home life was for Jack and Lily.
I thought he was telling the kids to get into the house. And besides, Jack lets my chickens out.
How many times has he done that? When has he done it the last time? And why are you talking badly about Jack again? Is that why Daniel so-called picked on him, as Malaya would say? Because Daniel knew how much you hated Jack? Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. Trashing and bashing.
And I let my chickens out at 7 o'clock that morning. So Jack has a habit of going around, moving stuff, and the
What the hell are you talking about? You let the chickens out that morning, right? So what did Jack do? Supposedly that morning.
back door for the kids. I didn't pay any attention to him because thought he was telling the kids to get into the house. And besides, Jack lets my chickens out. And I let my chickens out at 7 o'clock that morning.
If you let the chickens out at 7 in the morning, that means the chickens were inside. And that also means it was you that let the chickens out. So what are you talking about right now? So usually Jack lets your chickens out?
For the kids. I didn't pay any attention to him because thought he was telling the kids to get into the house. And besides, Jack lets my chickens out.
That makes no... What are you talking about? Is that a problem or is it a good thing? Because the chickens go out during the day, but at night you put them in, right? So what difference does it matter? Does it mean if you already let them out at 7, what difference does it make if Jack lets them out?
And I let my chickens out at 7 o'clock that morning. So Jack has a habit of going around, moving.
Has a habit of going around. This is also negative language, baby. People. Baby, what? Has a habit of going around. This is also something. All right, let's get through this. This is getting too much, but these parts are important. I gotta get through them. So Jack has a habit of going around moving
Stuff, and the chickens get out underneath the pen.
Okay, Jack lets my chickens out, but you're talking about the chickens were out since 7. So what difference does it make to your timeline?
So I thought he was yelling at him. She's
Oh, God.
back door for the kids. I didn't pay any attention to him because thought he was telling the kids to get into the house. And besides, Jack lets my chickens out. And I
Okay.
let my chickens out at 7 o'clock that
Okay, so what's the problem?
morning. So Jack has a habit of going around, moving stuff, and the chickens get out underneath the pen.
Okay.
So I thought he was yelling at him. She's about the chickens. We've been saying that from the beginning. She only made one interview since the kid since
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
on that day when the kids went missing.
That doesn't mean she is the one who did it. Anything. She's throwing shit at a fan to see what will stick to the wall. Throwing out whatever she has learned from the Derwood situation. And again, her low level of intellect, she probably looks up to somebody like Derwood and thinks, oh, he's a genius, man. Look how he confuses people. No, it was only two channels that allowed him on, I think, to give interviews, so called interviews. And yeah, it was enough for people to get so confused that it was Derwood, except me. I didn't touch it. I didn't mention his name until maybe a couple of weeks ago, the first time. Now that people have settled down and started to come to their senses, I will teach you how to avoid making the same mistakes in the future. He is not important enough to me, but as a learning tool, as a training tool, everything can be good. Even the most blatant people, such as Chris Proudfoot and the likes, they can be great training tools.
She hasn't opened her mouth to anybody else, as far as I have known. We can't get any information out of the investigation.
That's not a problem. You say you don't know anything, everybody's innocent on your property, right? What the hell do you care? And that doesn't mean she is guilty. You also bashed Belinda for not having seen Jack and Lily for 2 years, indicating she has no right to ask about them now? The hell is wrong with you?
Investigators, we've asked, but he says that they cannot tell us anything about their side of the family, what they're doing with them or what they are talking.
It's none of your damn business. Malaya is not brighter than your son, but she's at least been taught to keep her mouth shut. I believe that. I believe she has been taught by her family when it comes to police, when it comes to certain problems, you shut the hell up. And Wade went along with it until Tint got him. You know what I mean? And I think that Wade is probably a nice guy who likes to communicate, who just by nature, he's open, he's just who he is. Not somebody who's secretive, hiding a lot of things. So I think even though, and there comes Tint, and Tint is a complete stranger, but still, he's like, okay, this guy is somebody, man, I need to tell somebody. All the secretive bullshit, I hate it. So the fact of the matter is, she's trying to get your mind to move in the direction where you assume that silence is guilt. And now you understand where Daniel is coming from. And remember when I said this about 3 weeks ago, when I was asked, why does Daniel keep on talking? Because in the world where he is from, silence is considered guilt. And I'm sure it has something to do with some remarks Janie may have made while he grew up. Oh, this guy is quiet. He did it. You know what I mean? These things kind of stick to us. But in his own mind, the more he talks, the less guilty he seems to people. It is the opposite from Malaya, stating it makes him look guilty how much he talks. In her world, you shut the hell up and you leave it at that. Let them prove what I did. In Daniel's world, it's exactly the opposite. Talking to him means indicating I have nothing to hide in his warped mindset. And I'm pretty sure that Janie, well, looking at Earl, yeah, Justin is different. And by the way, Justin does not look like Earl. I agree with you. at all. Daniel looks absolutely like Earl. I had no idea who Earl was, what he looked like. When I hear the name Earl, I'm thinking about the types of old dudes that were in my neighborhood when I was a kid, and they looked very different, a little more heavy set and very, I don't know, cane to walk with and pipe going and all this crap. You know what I mean? I didn't expect somebody who looked like Daniel's father, but he looks absolutely and the similar mannerisms, and also this nervousness, this prone to stress kind of thing. Daniel always talks about being stressed, and I do believe that when his mom has a way of stressing people out, it's probably a part of his everyday life. Stress is something he's used to. Stress is just life to him. Man, this is a lot to go, but I don't care.
About or anything, because it has nothing to do with us. Just like they cannot tell them anything that we have said or we have done. So, if you want to blame anybody.
And again, Jesus, man, this woman is just oh God. She likes to torture people with her voice.
Information out of the investigators, we've asked. But he says that they cannot tell us anything about their side of the family, what they're doing with them or what they are talking about or anything, because it has nothing to do with us. Just
yeah, exactly. It has nothing to do with you.
Like they cannot tell them anything that we have said or we have done.
Okay.
So, if you want to blame anybody or anything,
blame Malaya, RCMP. Let me see.
Blame the RCMP
okay.
And the investigators for not putting out a report on what.
Yeah, because it does. The silence is killing you, not knowing what's cooking behind the scenes. That's what bothering her, and it's bothering Daniel the same way. Yeah, they laid off him after the polygraph thing. I guess maybe they just want him to feel like they're on his side, but it's killing him now that he said he's contacting them all the time now because he wants to know if they're getting close. That part is killing them, not knowing. That is why that goes hand in hand with them being prone to silence, being prone to talking, even if you're lying and even if it's obvious, means I'm not guilty. Silence means hiding something. When police is silent with them, they cannot stand it because they think something is going on behind the scenes that they don't know about. And because of that, Daniel has this habit of sticking his neck out just to get it chopped off every single time and make it worse. She had a problem with that, but she's doing worse. Logan the same way. They're all the same. They all have a very, very, very similar pattern here.
It has been done so far in this case.
They don't owe you anything. You're not biologically related to Jack and Lily. You didn't even like them. Why would they do this with you?
To answer your question to that.
Oh, finally, to answer your question. What was the question? I don't remember, man.
Let's get into the house. And besides, Jack lets my chickens out. And I let my chickens out at 7 o'clock that morning. So Jack has a habit of going around, moving stuff, and the chickens get out underneath the pen. So I thought he was yelling at him about the chickens. We've been saying that from the beginning. She only made one interview.
We all know that. I've been talking about that in the very beginning. I accept it. I know the pattern. Yes, only one interview. Yes, 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 we get it. Doesn't matter. Your son did it, in my opinion. Because had she done something physically to the kids, it would have entered your language already. As much as you hate her, it would have entered your language, and you would not be going through what you're going through right now if there was more guilt on Maleha's part than on Daniel's, but there isn't. That is why you're trying to put her on the map. I 100% did not with what Daniel said. He needs to assign a certain percentage to Malaya, and he doesn't want to go through the consequences on his own, especially you, Janie, because to you, the kids shouldn't have ever been there anyways because you hated them. You didn't want them here. You didn't like them.
Since the kid, and that day when the kids went missing.
Okay, man, she's worse than Chris Proudfoot. Seriously. Chris Proudfoot is blatant and gives himself away all the time, but she is even worse than that. And that's what I had a problem with, like when I went through Chris Proudfoot's statements, and it's sometimes like a 10 or 15-minute video, and it'll take me like suddenly it's 45 minutes in, and I only covered like 8 minutes or 3 minutes, sometimes only 3 minutes, right? Because there is so much, it's so packed. And I have an hour, 50 minutes to go.
Chickens get out underneath the pen. So I thought he was yelling at him. She's about the chickens. We've been saying that from the beginning. She only made one interview since and that day when the kids went missing.
Doesn't mean she, yes, guilty knowledge, yes, but that's it.
She hasn't opened her mouth to anybody else, as far as I have known.
Yep. Unlike you and your clan.
We can't get any information out of the investigators.
And that is your problem, not knowing. The silence is killing you.
We've asked, but
I'm sure you have, because you cannot not ask. You've asked, and Daniel already told us he asked.
He says that they cannot tell us anything.
Yep.
About their side of the family, what they're doing with them or what they are talking about or anything, because it has nothing to do with us.
Yeah, and problem is?
Just like they cannot tell them anything.
Yes.
That we have said or we have done. So, if you want to blame anybody or anything, blame the RCMP and the investigators for not putting out a report.
Actually, the more time goes by, the more I understand what they have been doing, like revisiting the pipeline area, but I think it came too late. I think it came much too late. And had I had the statements back then that I have now, I would have raised the awareness already. The pipeline area, I believe that if Daniel found something, there was evidence dropped. Him and his friends removed it. That's what I think happened. Everything I say is my opinion only, of course, and everybody's innocent unless proven guilty in the court of law, which I hope is going to happen very soon. And the investigators for not putting out a report. Okay, blame them, yeah. Their silence is killing them. Not knowing is killing her. And she thinks that because Malaya isn't speaking, you are all going to assume that she did something to the children, but Daniel did not. That's not how the world works.
On what has been done so far in this case. To answer your question to that.
I forgot, but I don't care anymore.
What do you think my motivation is for Malaya doing this? I can tell.
She didn't go back to the answer. She's reading another question. Shit, what was the question, man? I'm not going back. God, it's killing me. No, I can't. Would I hear a car? Jack the chickens outside playing, he shut right up. Her dog shut. Something about the car, right? I think it's about the car, and she says to answer your questions, and she uses the opportunity to immediately jump away from that. We can't get any information. Okay, it's enough.
information of the investigators. We've asked, but he says that they cannot tell us anything about that's their side of the family, what they're doing with them or what they are talking about or anything, because it has nothing to do with us. Just like they cannot tell them anything that we have said or we have done.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you want to blame anybody or anything, blame the RCMP and the investigators for not putting out a report on what has been done so far in this case.
Okay.
To answer your question to that, what do you think my motivation?
You see, she is not getting to the question. She's not getting to the answer. She's reading around and then she sees another question and says, cool, let's get saved by the bell.
Is for Malaya doing this. I can tell you this. I'm not Malaya. I don't know what Malaya thinks, and I don't know what Malaya does. So I don't have any idea what her motivation would be for her doing this. That's a question you have to ask Malaya. As I'm going to say to every...
And they all want her to react. That's why Daniel sent these private messages.
Everyone that is listening, I live in my RV. They live in the trailer.
Yeah.
What goes on in the trailer is their business.
Really?
What goes on in my RV is my business. It would be a different thing if I lived in there. I would know what was going on in their lives. But
avoidance.
Where I live out here, I have no idea what's going on in there. Yes, Cindy has been to this trailer, I would say, at least 3 to 4 times that I know of. And I've talked to the lady once since she's been here. She's never been to any birthday parties. When she does come over...
It has nothing to do with what happened to Jack and Lily. And the things she said about Belinda also. She's trying to blame everybody. She's trying to get people, she's trying to make other people look like they didn't care about Jack and Lily. Even with Belinda. But of course with Cindy also. In other words, what do you care about what happened to Jack and Lily? You need to leave us alone. That is her message she's sending. And with Malaya, of course, she's absolutely correct. Malaya doesn't give a crap. She really doesn't. I don't know why, but she just doesn't. But that doesn't answer what happened on Thursday night on your property to Jack and Lily.
She has taken the kids, I believe once, maybe twice, I'm not sure, taken them, both of them, but sometimes she only takes one kid at a time because she can't handle both of them at the same time. So I never really, I'm going to say 3 or 4 times, I don't know, could be more. I never really took notice how many times she was here because, hell, it's none of my business when she comes or when she goes. I know Patty has been here a lot more times than Cindy.
Patty is Malaya's grandmother.
Because Patty has never missed a kid's birthday party. Mm-hmm. And when Malaya and Daniel moved into the trailer, Patty came over more than Cindy ever did. Mm-hmm. And then a while after that, when Patty wasn't able to drive or didn't want to drive, her Hayden would come over to the birthday parties and drive Patty here. So Hayden has been here at the trailer. I will answer your question. No, I did not see Malaya at the end of the driveway. Malaya was seen in front of my RV when I opened the door about 5...
I'm confused. I thought, no, never mind.
10 minutes after Daniel was hollering for the kids, I opened the door and Malaya was standing in front of my RV. And I asked her what was up. She said the kids are missing. I said, how long? She said 20 minutes.
And always, when she repeats this part, it's always the same script. That's what they got down. They match each other with that, and no matter how many times they tell that part of the story, it's always going to be the same. That was whatever was rehearsed was very well rehearsed. When they go into different areas, that's when they get flustered, and that's when their timelines no longer match up.
Well, that's a good question. I wished I knew a way to get Malaya to talk, but there's no way you're going to, because wherever she is, she's got people watching her or people telling her what to say.
No, not
I don't know.
yeah, I don't know it's right. Not necessarily. This is just how she is. When she has problems, Malaya shuts off. She is not like you. She's not combative. I can imagine the hell that went on between you and Earl when you were living together, the fighting, the arguing, allegedly, of course. But that's maybe where Daniel got his nature from, right? So, Malaya, we already saw how she reacts, and you and Daniel have told us. She shuts down. That's what she does. She sits and she's on her phone all day. She doesn't even react to the children. She doesn't. It doesn't matter if a bomb goes off next to her. She will just shut off and not do anything. That's how she handles situations that she doesn't like. I can't tell you how you can get to Malaya. I really can't. Her friends are not saying, only saying what they want to say, and it's usually towards Daniel, not what not what Malaya want, or not sticking up for Malaya, because if they're asked questions, they just say, "Oh, Malaya, it wants her time to herself." So I don't know how you're going to get to Malaya. Believe me, it's been since I did my interview on Thursday. My chest has been lifted so much because you actually are stupid enough to think you did a good job.
Because as I said, I had this inside me for 2 months.
Because you're small minded. You pay attention to small areas and don't see the bigger picture. We don't need to see the glass sliding door. We already know the kids did not go through there.
Because the investigator said that keep quiet due to the investigation.
They didn't tell Belinda that. Once in a while they say we're not going to tell you about this or about that, but they never told her be quiet about anything, by the way. Never. Even though you try to make it sound like she had violated certain rules, but they don't exist.
Even get after Daniel for speaking to the press and everything, because they
what's and everything get they even get after Daniel for speaking to the press and everything. Who?
were scared that he would say something that would
You said it also. He talked too much.
Interfere in the investigation. That's all I can tell you. That's why I kept quiet, because they told me not.
Yeah, but you're making up for it now.
To say anything. And then as I said, I got fed up with it. It's been 2 months since this happened. I told the investigators everything that I'm telling you guys. Mm-hmm. I told the news press everything that I'm telling you guys. And I've just had it because there's no updates on what's going on. And it's just frustrating me. And I just couldn't deal with the stress anymore. So I had to let it out. I don't give a shit if I get in trouble for what I've done or not.
You can get in trouble for it, right? That's what you're telling us. There's something you have done you can get in trouble with. Hindering an investigation by covering up the evidence with your raking. And maybe the gravel and the potholes. Exactly. You can get in trouble. for what you have done or not. For what you have done. You have done something that you can get into big trouble for. Possibly do time. Not sure what the um, you know penalty for that will be. Covering up, trying to help cover up somebody else's crime, Daniel's crime. Wow.
If they want to haul me away for doing just saying something to
For doing saying, yeah. Look how flustered she gets. For doing saying you did something and you know it, and that's the problem. It's not about what you say. It's about what you did. It's about your role. Who else is responsible? You. You are involved. And dare I say, a criminal, in my opinion, allegedly, and speculation. So the high horse that you're trying to get on is going to throw you off real quick.
harm their investigation, let them come and do it right now.
That's not what it's about.
Just they got to find Jack and Lily. They got to stop pussyfooting around and start looking for Jack and Lily.
And start what? Stop pussyfooting around. I should say, stop p-word footing around. And start, and then she stops. Start what? Looking at the right roads for more evidence that Daniel may have dropped, looking towards Chance Harbor. No, she goes down to keeping it very general, just looking for Jack and just looking, you know what I mean? You know where they are. Tell us. You know exactly where they were taken. You hold the key. Justin holds the key, in my opinion. Earl knows what happened. And I think your brother Ron knows as well. Derwood knows what happened. And that's according to his own statement. And there are two other people that I don't want to name right now who I'm certain know what happened. Let's get her done.
They didn't take long to come here and search all this place and ask us all kinds of questions and everything. And now they're not bothering with us at all. So the only thing I could say is they must be working on her side.
They're not, idiot. It's bothering you that they don't fill you in, but they are not working on your side. And look how blatant. Anyways, I'm done with this woman. I need to get some more information here. If it's not
Just
coming,
try to figure out what's going on her side. Because as I said, I haven't talked to the investigators. It must be about 3 weeks or more.
Mm-hmm. And
Nobody's been around here. Nobody has been in contact with us. I don't see any RCMP officers around here anymore. Or nothing. It's like, to tell you the truth, you want to know my personal opinion, it's like to them, this like nothing never happened.
It's like to them, this like nothing never happened. Okay, and by the way, yes, I understand that, there's code language in certain, rock infested areas, like when somebody uses double negatives a lot, like, I don't know nothing. It's code for saying, I ain't gonna tell you shit, right? I understand that, but her word is a different one. Yes, so, in some cases, but she's saying it's like to them, this like nothing never happened. She may be that dumb that she doesn't realize how they're working behind the scenes. The pipeline area was researched. It makes so much sense now. And that is because of what Janie told us and because of the map, what I have seen.
Here.
Nothing never happened here because there it is exactly where it happened. That's why she adds here. Look over there, don't look here. All right.
It's like they're done here.
No, then they're not.
I already asked that question about my knowledge leading up to the disappearance. I've already answered that question. As I said earlier, the grown-ups can deal with this. It's the children that I'm worried about, what they're going through. I was saying today to somebody, just
Your children, your grandchildren.
think what little Jack and Lily's going through. Why? Where's mommy? How come I can't see mommy? Why is this happening to me? And then there's Meadow. Meadow can't see her brother and sister. And as I said, when she sees them, she's only small. She's only a little child. But when she seen Jack and Lily's face, she lit up like you wouldn't believe it. And then there's my other two grandchildren. They played with Jack and Lily out in this yard for 2 years. I watched them play, and now they don't know what's happening. They don't know where Jack and Lily is. They don't know what happened to them. It's the children that I'm worried about. As I said, us grown-ups can deal with it. It's the children that's having the hard time with it. As I said, I am going to tell you this. And I said it before, what goes on in Daniel's life has nothing to do with me. I don't care what he does. I don't care what he does, where he goes. I do not question the boy, what he does, where
The boy.
he goes. I am, as I said, I'm a hermit. I stay here. I don't interfere in his life. I don't interfere in my kids' lives at all, whether it's Daniel or it's Justin's. They live their own life. I live mine. So to answer your question, I do not know. Okay,
So she doesn't know what led up to this. Okay, you guys heard it. I don't need
group
to.
chat, if there's no more questions, I'm going to say goodnight. And thank you all for listening and not judging me and letting me cry on your shoulders. I really appreciate it. But now I'm starting to get a headache because I've been here on her most of the day answering your guys' questions. And I think it's time for me to hit the hay. So I say goodnight. Hey, people in chat. No, yesterday I mentioned a couple of people in this chat. I mentioned Robert Parker and Tim Houston. Now, get this. Someone in chat or somebody must have said something because I just had a visit from Robert Parker.
Yeah.
And I had a few words with him. And I said to him, after 2 months, you're finally coming to give your support to us. And he tried to make it up.
You know what? This woman, man. That sounds, he finally came. Yeah, so again, who's Robert Parker? Community leader, politician, whatever. He says, oh crap, I gotta go there and listen to her shit. Okay, I'll do it. And the first thing she does is like, well, it took you a while. It took you 2 months to come. I can so see this, man. Give your support to us. No, he's not giving you oh my God. And he tried to make it
Excuse. Oh, I was busy.
busier than you. It's priorities. And why, what difference does it make for him to see you?
No, that is no excuse.
Oh my God, dude. This is the kind of person you want to do nothing for because it'll never be enough. It'll only lead to accusations of not having done enough. What have you ever done for anybody, Janie? What have you ever done for anybody?
You're there for the people when they are good times and having good times and having bad times.
Yeah, so get a fucking barbecue going and invite some people. Why would he want to visit some hermit who's there stuck with her dog and yelling with a crow voice all day?
You're there to support them. And after 2 months, he finally shows up to ask if we need anything.
Because he already knows something. He's probably connected enough to hear the people that he trusts tell him, oh, there's something very fishy going on. You may not want to be involved in that.
So there is your I think it's your MLA or whoever he is. I'm not sure. But there you go. But it's an awful coincidence. After me mentioning him on this Facebook, that he shows up to see if we need anything. And you know what I did? I told him to get the F off of my property. And you know what he said? He babbled and said, oh, all right, all right, all right. And he finally got in his car and left. So whoever mentioned about if it was on here, but it's an awful coincidence that he shows up today after me mentioning it on Facebook. So whoever said anything about that, thank you very much. I had my say, and I'm very happy that I had my words with him. I have to leave for a few minutes. I'm getting a phone call, so I'll come back and answer your questions.
Probably a phone call from somebody who's gonna tell her, okay, take it easy, dude. Oh, I want to get through this.
When I come back. I don't know about that because I started watching the TikToks of Sunny and of Dolly. I'm sorry, I can't stand Dolly. And to tell you the truth, I can't stand Sunny's interviews now. I don't watch them. After what she said about me, I don't go on them anymore. That's a question you would have to ask Darren why he said what he did. It's, in my opinion, Daniel.
Oh, Darren? Okay, wait. That's Swindler. That's the question you would have to ask Darren. Okay,
He said what he did. It's, in my opinion, Darren is telling the truth. He told me a lot that I don't want to tell anybody.
You liar. You liar. You blatant liar.
Telling the truth. He told me a lot that I don't want to tell anybody.
Because it'll get you in more trouble.
That's up to him.
Yep.
He has his own opinion on things, and he says what he says. So you can either take it with a grain of salt or not.
I'm taking with the grain of something a lot less than salt.
So I agree with his assessments of events. Daniel,
with his assessment of events. See, she doesn't say, I believe him. Oh, God. All right, go ahead. Daniel, sorry.
Darren is close with the family on Malaya's side.
Doesn't make a difference. I believe his son, at least his son, has very similar hobbies as your son does. And there's a very strong connection that is not a good one.
And he is close with Daniel. I never met the man before in my life. I didn't even know who he was until one day he walked in the yard and he asked for Daniel. And I went in and I said, Daniel, there's someone here to see you. He said, who is it? And I said, I don't know. And I come out and I asked Darren who he was. And he told him, so Daniel, get up. Then they got talking.
Daniel was sleeping off something.
And he was telling about what he knew or what he heard.
Look, you see how she slows down, and he was telling about what he knew, and then she corrects it, or what he
heard or whatever.
Aha. See? It's not something he knew. what he heard, or yeah, that's a big difference. She starts to say what he knew, but it's easier for her to say what he heard or whatever. He hadn't even heard it. He came up with that story together with Daniel.
And then I said, well, this is a man that knows what's going on.
Yeah. Maybe you mean in terms of how to BS people? I don't know.
On both sides. So I
Uh-uh.
felt comfortable talking to him. I told him the whole thing. That's
Yep.
what he said, do you mind if I go on and say what you know? And I said, I really don't give a what. So he went on. He did get some stuff mixed up.
Now, I'm sure you guys worked it out and came up with the right storyline.
Did correct.
And this is exactly what happened. They together concocted that. It was not just Daniel and Darren, it was Daniel, Darren, and Janie together that came up with the strategy. And that happened before Daniel started talking online. I believe before he sent the messages to Charmaine. At the time, they planned to lay low, say absolutely not one thing, have him go out there, have him talk. And when that backfired, they didn't know what to do. So eventually, Daniel bit the bait, talked to Charmaine. From there, he could not go back anymore. He wound up answering questions because suddenly he was accessible to everybody. So now it would have been actively hiding and running away hadn't he at least continued a little bit replying to people here and there. Now, when you never start and you say, I'm not a social media person, this is not my style. What, Twitter? I don't have that. YouTube? Yeah, I used to do Pokemon videos, but that was years ago. And now it's bullshit. I get bored with social. Why? What's up? Mm-mm. All of a sudden, we realize there is the Pokemon account talking, selecting a few questions, doing the hit and run type of answers. All of a sudden. But back then, they had the strategy that Darren is going to be like the spin doctor. I mean, I hate to say it with this type of people, but for lack of a better term, he was going to be like their PR person, making it sound like Malaya's family, it's their fault. Obviously, he's very close to Daniel. His son, very close. You saw the picture. Do I need to show it to you again? Well, he did get some stuff mixed up. I did no, he got the whole thing was a mix up.
Him on that.
Okay, so he got things mixed up. But everything he said about Malaya or what he came up with, that was true, right?
What he said.
Look how slow she gets now. Look how she takes her time. So here is the pattern. Here is Janie's pattern. When she slows it down, and I mean, this is a pattern in many people, but she really slows it down when she is worried to say the wrong thing. I mean, she needs to because she cannot think very fast. So the pace is going from rabbit to turtle in no time flat. A huge difference. And when these pattern changes kick in, that's when you realize there's something there. Always recognize pattern changes, no matter if it's body language, which you don't want to listen to anybody, by the way. You use your own except when we're talking about duping delight or something like that. But the body language, whenever there are significant changes, that's when you want to pay attention. You don't want to interpret so fast. But in her case, and she is pronouncing her words really properly and slowly. I did correct him on that, what he said.
I believe, because what he said.
She feels a need to explain why she believes it. She doesn't believe it. She knows it. As a matter of fact, she knows it's BS. You were there.
I believe.
Again, she says, I believe. No, you don't. This is trying even harder.
Because you take him.
Look, she cannot get the answer down. She again needs to explain why she believes. She doesn't believe. She knows it's a lie. She knows it's all lies. And then she says, you take. Not I took, or I take, or I. No. She's removing all responsibility from herself and projecting. You take. You take.
Man that is putting his own life in danger, putting his life.
Uh-oh. Do you hear that? I don't need to point it out, right?
With
His life in danger. How is his life in danger? With what?
his family and his partner, putting that all in jeopardy. He told what he knew.
Yeah, he's a good guy for you because he doesn't mind lying his ass off to protect your son and jeopardizing a lot. And I think it's going to backfire very much for him and his son because you know what? You inject yourself into this and make a mockery of Jack and Lily's lives. You better not sit in a fucking glass house. That's all I'm gonna say. You better not sit in a glass house, Derwood or Darren or whatever. But at least now we're learning how it all started. One day he came. He asked Daniel, listen, dude, my son told me, or I read, that it's not going well for you, man. That may have been after May 6th. Remember what I showed you? The May 6th Facebook post? I think after that, he may have come and said, listen, dude, I made a post on your behalf. It was deceptive, but how would they know? Right? From his point of view. And people replied so much, and they all think you're guilty. They all think you did it. Nah, not everybody. A few people are stupid enough to, but he already knew.
He lost everything. Now, who would in their right mind? Sorry, that's not the right words, but who would do that if they didn't know what they were talking about?
Yeah. You see, again, the type of, it's a Jerry McCain kind of question. Who would do that if? No, that doesn't mean there is anything truthful. Why does he do it? I don't know. Maybe your son and Daniel have a very strong connection. They know stuff about each other. They both don't talk to police, allegedly. And there's a bond that goes beyond whatever you had with Maleha's family. And that's where your loyalty is. And you're around stupid people, so you think everybody in the world is like that. And you come up with this obvious story. And but anyways, this guy, dude, holy crap.
Or what they heard or what they said. Because
What? She gets so flustered, man. She can't handle this at all.
you got to look at it. He has more to lose. And whatever he said about it by trying to find Jack and Lily.
Who the hell?
Anyway, he lost everything.
And it's interesting that the person in the background
Know nothing about was said or anything. The investigators got after him for letting that out there, and then they came out with a statement after that people have had polygraph tests done. So, think about what was said or anything. The investigators got after him for letting that out there, and then they came out with a statement after that people have had polygraph tests done. So, he got in trouble.
Did I miss something or what?
That's a question you would have to ask Darren why he said what he did. As said, I believe.
No.
So, he got in trouble for that. Daniel asked for the lie detector test. Yes, he was the one that begged the investigators for the polygraph test. They did not ask him. He asked for it. Daniel and I still take walks through the woods to see if we can find them, just to get out and look.
I'm speechless. I'm speechless. Yep.
But we haven't found anything. As I said, I do not know where the kids are. In my opinion, they are not in the woods. The searchers are saying they are. But come on, after all the time they have searched and never found nothing, and all the helicopters and the drones and all the area they have searched, those two children, Jack and Lily, could not have walked very far. As I told you, when I walked with Jack and Lily and Daniel and my other two grandchildren in the woods, I would have to carry Jack through the woods.
Yeah, we know.
There's no way you're going to make a kid do something they don't want to do.
Yeah, we know.
Believe me.
Believe you.
I've been through it.
Yeah. Oh,
so Jack and Lily
I can't wait to get through this.
Walked in the woods. The only distance they would have walked is up to their little fort that they built. Lily is scared of bugs and spiders. The opposite of Jack. When I see them out here in the yard and there's a fly or a bug or something, if Jack gives her one of her bugs, she goes, I don't want that. Or worms. She won't touch worms. She won't touch bugs at all. She gets scared of them. She runs in the house when there's a fly or something around her. So I can't see them going in the woods with bugs and...
And by the way, yes, I think that the Lily's scream may have been developed as a defense mechanism to protect her little brother. Malaya said Daniel picked on Jack, which is, her. She is the one who covered everything, by the way. She is so guilty of that. With the CPS, she lied like crazy to protect only Daniel. And so she uses the same language to water things down. Picked on means severely abused, slapped him around. I believe that Lily probably may have developed that scream to get Daniel to stop. He saw Daniel abusing her little baby brother, and she developed the scream to let him know, lay off my baby brother. There is a reason she was so protective with this boy. Because she saw this big guy hating her helpless little brother. So she did what her mother failed to do.
Flies and... No. Well, they called all the search off here. There hasn't been a search here now since
the pipeline. And there's a good possibility Daniel and his friends were able to remove the evidence.
Oh, God, I can't tell you. There's nobody around here. I think, in my opinion, I think the investigators finally got it through their head that they're not in the woods. So
It was never about that. They searched the pipeline because, and they're probably searching Chance Harbor area because they realize, you know, they looked for evidence, but they were a little too late.
as far as I know, from what I'm hearing, they are investigating their side now.
No, they're not. No, they're not. They're not. They're trying to find evidence exactly how Daniel removed the bodies of Jack and Lily. And I think they're getting pretty damn close.
They did all they could here because there's nobody around. There's no RCMP, there's no investigators around anymore. As I said,
why would there be?
I haven't seen investigators in about 3 weeks here. They don't come here anymore. Daniel still keeps in contact with them if something comes up. That's all I know. I don't know what he tells them. I don't listen to his conversations. I don't, as I said, he's old enough, he makes his own choices. And he says his own thoughts. I'm not sticking up for the boy. What he does on his own. As I said, just like me. Nobody tells me what to do. Nobody tells me my thoughts. He stays out of my life, I stay out of his. And when they lived in that trailer, that whatever went on in there was their business, not mine. I live in the RV.
Yeah.
And to answer your question, no, I'm not Lily and Jack's grandmother. But for the last 2 years, I became Jack and Lily's grandmother. They called me Granny. They called Justin Uncle. So yes, I became their granny the last 2 years. And they called Daniel Daddy. You can't stop a kid from calling you Granny or calling him Daddy. If that's what they want to call you, that's what I let
How long until she mentions her grandkids?
them call me. No, I don't think it's because of that. I think it's because the investigators or the RCMP didn't want me or Daniel to say something that could harm the investigation. But I'm not saying anything that's going to harm the investigation because I am telling you exactly what I told the investigators when they came here. I'm telling you the timeline. I'm telling you when I heard the kids outside. I'm telling you when I seen Malaya outside. I'm telling you about the footprints. I'm telling you about where I was raking. I'm not telling you anything that I haven't already told the investigators. And besides, the investigators, as I said earlier, the investigators are not telling us anything other than it's still an ongoing investigation. It's still a missing person. Sank that low on a chat that I was in that they thought they had it all over that Facebook that my dog killed the kids. And that really hurt me.
That didn't happen. I don't know who comes up with these things, but there are people that come up with all kind of crap. But you know what you do? You ignore it.
Because my dog is gentle. But when it comes to their place where they're trying to protect, that is their ground, and they protect it. So that's why I didn't want the RCMP in here, that Officer Mason. She started opening my gate to come in here, and I told her there was a dog in there, And that's when she said, if you interfere in my investigation, I'll have you removed from the premises.
Yeah.
That really hurt me because I was just warning her that there was a dog in there. And if she really wanted to search my trailer, she would have.
Yeah. How did you say? There's a dog in here. I know your voice, and that sounds like a threat right there because you're a hateful woman. So, yeah, that is the officer Mason probably reacted accordingly.
Asked me to take my dog out, which she did not. I got a searcher that was here to come, and there was 3 other searchers came and they rooted this place apart.
Yeah.
I took my dog out, so for the safety of them and let them search. And I also heard someone told me that
Uh-oh. I heard someone told me that. Let's hear it.
Malaya let them search here. She took
And
the dog out and let them.
that's exactly what you should have done. You let the dog out and you tell police or the searchers to go in there. That's exactly what you do. And
Search here. And Mason came here Sunday morning. I might have said Monday on my interview. I will correct myself. But she came here Sunday morning. I was over in the big trailer. I stayed the night over there
you stayed over there. So, okay.
Saturday night with Daniel. And she came.
Did you sleep in Jack and Lily's bed?
I seen her walking in the driveway. I opened the back door and asked her. Yes, she said, "Would you please remove your dog so we can search your trailer?" I said, "Give me a minute to put my boots on." I come out. I took my dog out. They came in here and they searched the place again. So my place was searched 3 times.
So?
Since this happened. Yes, if it was.
Since what happened?
For my dog being around me, I wouldn't have anyone to console me. He's a sweetheart.
Yeah, exactly. Again and again. Poor me.
And I love him to death. Yeah, dogs can be hogs when it comes to bed. Believe me, I know. If you would like to, but I know it's getting everybody mad in the group because nobody's getting their questions answered right away. But yes, I would like that. Thank you. I don't want you to feel sorry for my dog. I'm just pointing out about what my dog feels to what the kids must be feeling. That's all I'm pointing out. Don't feel sorry for my dog. I'm taking care of my dog. It's just that I was just saying if my
What the kids must be feeling. Oh, guys, I'm so tired now.
for my dog. It's just that I was just saying if my dog is going through this much anxiety, what are the children going through?
No. You're talking about the dog's anxiety and you're throwing in the children once in a while. That's not your point. Your point was never, you see what she's trying to do? Because people pointed out to her, if my dog is going through that much anxiety, but she is so full of shit. Listen, guys, I cannot handle it anymore. This is getting too much. So I have like 30 minutes left that I'm probably going to talk about. And the problem is right now my brain is fried from this. So I'm not really sure what else I was going to talk about, which is not a good thing because well, what was I going to talk about? Oh, what about your comments? That's right. Let's always make sure to never get ahead of ourselves. Oh, that was horrible, man. Daniel searched the pipeline area for evidence he may have left behind. That is the title of the video that I posted earlier. And the commenting is pretty, well, the chat was pretty good, the live chat. So I don't know if you are able to hear it or watch it, but this is when I think we have learned exactly what The reason was RCMP searched the pipeline area. All right, let's see. I lost everything in my life. Wait, what? Yes, the kids are missing, but she still has her shack on her property with her dog, and her son is still around. Is Janie preemptively stating that she knows Daniel's going to jail forever? I think so. I think that is exactly what she's worried about. What is this?
My life. So after I'm
Yeah, I lost everything in my life, sure. I think she will lose everything in her life. She will not be able to see her grandchildren again, I think. And if she's going to court, I hope they don't grant, well, I guess legally speaking, she has recourse, but re-listening, and I can't rule out that she knows she ought to be seeing jail time too. Yes, absolutely. She knows she deserves the divine M. That's your name? Okay. I agree. She knows she deserves jail time. Doesn't mean she will get it, but she participated in the cover up. So even though she may think, legally speaking, they don't really have they're not going to go after her. Inside, it is not about um, legal ramifications. It's about whether you did right or wrong, whether you did something bad or not, whether you were involved or not. That's where guilty knowledge comes from, and guilty knowledge is huge in her case. Every adult living on the property is guilty. Guilty of something, yes, absolutely. I agree. Her dog is probably thankful for getting a break from this battle act. Oh my god. Yeah. Janie said she saw the dogs. I mean, it's like with kids, man. They don't choose who their owner is gonna be or who their caretaker is going to be. You know what I mean? That's always the problem, man. Janie said she saw Malaya in the driveway looking guilty, and Link thinks she handed the children off. Yeah, but she also said she didn't see her in the driveway, right? Just now earlier? Please correct me if I'm wrong here. But when she got back to her property after the first day, she was upset because she thought they were deceased. She said again, long after, that's exactly it. You know? It wasn't until she met with Derwood. Derwood came by. Daniel is co-worker and friends with his son. They may share the same types of hobbies. And he came by. He saw how people, that people and he wanted to pull a fast one. Why don't I help you out somehow? Why don't we come up with some bullshit? So I will go on these lives. I will go into these chat rooms. I will go all over the place, and I will say whatever we come up with. That's exactly what happened, and that's what Janie just told us happened. I think what mistake the police made was allowing him to search. Yes, thank you. I agree. They should have never allowed him to go down to the pipeline and search there. But they didn't know what to look for, where to look. That's exactly what it is. I would have given Daniel time to either plant, tamper, or cover up evidence. No, not plant evidence. Daniel didn't plant evidence. What he did was remove evidence, possibly. That is a big issue. He was able to go out there and look wherever Daniel went in the so called search is the area that he himself traveled that night when he gotten rid of Jack and Lily. And he knew he lost the star from Lily, something fell off. And he also knew there was a footprint, and the blanket. What else did I lose? Now, when it comes to this little star, so small from Lily's jacket, this this kind of stuff can come off very easily. So there's a very good chance there were a bunch of little stars or something else to be found. And that's why he was so eager to go out there. And that's why he even thanked this one guy in a military uniform or somebody. Remember when he said, "Thank you so much to this guy"? I don't know. I believe he actually found something. So by the time they returned to the pipeline to search, he may have removed it, but they didn't, stop him. And they didn't, search him again and again to see what's in his pockets. See, this is why I love my comment section. Where else do you see good? Okay, the heart definitely lies. Feelings clouds, cloud of judgment. Me, I lost everything, me, yeah, of course. How can anybody hurt these beautiful children? Daniel, Malaya, and Janie know exactly what happened. They do. All the time, you poor forsaken grandma, but what about poor Jack and Lily? Yeah, I'm not the only one who sees it like that. It's a good thing to know. The other two people, I ordered them off the property. Who was she referring to? I think Haley and Cheryl. I think. I know Janie isn't the sharpest axe in the woodshed, but the answer relies with Malaya is an interesting choice of words or misuse of words. It sounds like the answer relies on Malaya to cooperate with what happened. They need Malaya to cooperate the story they made up, yes. Thursday night to Friday a.m. to take the heat off Daniel and families. Janie sounds more and more desperate by the day. Her son is frantic. If Janie knows Malaya is some sort of key to the best answers in the case, why doesn't she just speak on what she thinks? Can you guys read this? Malaya knows. Why not enlighten us with information you think Malaya has then? Malaya knows? Question mark, I mean. When Janie speaks to Daniel's innocence, non-involvement, her proof is that she just knows and her heart can feel it. Yep, exactly. Never any actual evidence or anything to back up the events from Thursday to Friday a.m. Yep. The fact that Janie was not allowed to see her biological grandchildren, Daniel's from during a recent birthday this summer is huge. Authorities stepped in to stop contact, support the wishes of the other parent. It's a big deal. Authorities do not trust Janie. Absolutely. Absolutely. The pipeline seems important. Yep, very. How unfortunate that the kids aren't here. You, the cabin is not far from the ocean. Yeah, tick bite. She probably. I like this one. About the tick bite, right? And the woman was out. Oh, I'm tired of this already, man. But she says, tick bite. Oh my God, she probably made such a fuss over it. The person felt obligated to go get something for her. People have tick bites and mosquito bites all the time. Yeah, and I don't go to a pharmacy for that. We had to fend for ourselves. Janie, Jack, and Lily had to fend for themselves. What about the fence? Like Mike said, why didn't you make some food for the people who are only at your property because their biological minor relatives are missing? Such abuse. We had to fend. Fend is also an interesting choice of words. Gotta look more into this. Again, when I pay attention to stuff that I maybe shouldn't pay attention to, my mind is fried, man. Now I can, if I see now new statements of Emmanuel Harrow, and by the way, what I covered in my statement analysis, it seems to come true. So I'm pretty much done with the case because I think we will see very quick actions there. You know that they actually went to that store the day before and asked if they had security cameras outside, under the pretense that somebody had broken in their car the week ago. So yeah. Anyways, so that boy's been dead for a while. At the 1 minute mark, did you catch where she said I had nothing to do with that? Jack and Lily says she knows, she remembers. It is it as a that, like a specific event. This goes along with her also saying that if she had come outside with her when her dog was barking, this wouldn't have happened. She saw it or was told by Daniel how they died. I think she saw it. I think she saw the aftermath. Both her and Justin. Let me hear it.
That's all I have to say. The rest of the answers to all your questions rely with Malaya. I don't. The only thing I can tell you about that is I had nothing to do with Jack and Lily's disappearance. I know Daniel did not have anything to do with Jack and Lily's disappearance.
Oh, guys, this is brain frying. Who was creating? Yeah, who was treating Jack and Lily's tick bites? Good question. So much concern for herself and effort to proclaim her innocence. Disturbing. Well, yeah, the kids were not taken care of at all. At all. Every little thing with her is a huge deal, but the kids didn't have the right clothing, chapped lips, and black eyes, and all of that, and nothing mattered. Wow, you guys are great. Thank you. Oh, that's already stopped? What happened here? Okay, this is just a video that I put up how long ago? Not that long ago, that's for sure. 2 hours ago. Did I miss another one? But I'm happy that the Janie McKenzie's more detailed analysis, you see, for me, I've already moved on to other areas to discuss. I'm happy that you guys actually, some of you liked it. And the plates, no, plaid. Shit, man. Okay, plaid. The Plaids Association. I'm interested. Please continue. Good. And I use, of course, that as a. Jack has his coats of him. I talked about this part already. Okay, so some of you have commented on Emmanuel Harrow's mother. This crime makes. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I remember when I was a kid and it was like. You didn't really talk about parents hurting their children. Who's Annette? She's agreeing with Annette. I need to see Annette. That baby wasn't healthy. That baby looked dazed, confused, altered, like a shaken baby. At no point was that baby happy and engaged. Very good point, Annette. Let me make sure other people get to see this as well. See, this is when I have an eye opening moment. I agree with you completely. Let's go up there and see what else says. Okay, I use this uh, liar. If I see a picture of this child. Yeah, I'm not disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing. The baby wasn't healthy, absolutely. The baby looked dazed, confused, altered, like a shaken baby. Yes, at no point was that baby happy and engaged. The mother pretended to cry. No tears. Her back was turned, but she was punched in the eye. That meant she got punched from the front, except that looks like an old bruise. Yes, it does. Maybe even the day before. If she was hit, then she saw the person. The spouse has a long criminal record. This woman, and I didn't know that when I started my analysis. This woman's story is nearly the exact same story as the mom, scripted. She's the father's sister. Yes, absolutely. They all scripted together. But somebody did care what he looked like, in my opinion. That child is dead. I believe so. I'm convinced the child is no longer alive. I'm convinced of that. And remember, the one thing that stood out to me the most was when she changed the pronoun. She said, "Please give us back our son." And then she said, "Please don't harm my son." I believe at one point she actually tried to protect her son.
And I said, as I got up, I couldn't find my son.
Okay, guys, let me listen to Joseph.
Find my son. I got him out of the car seat, and I let him down. With all of you about the, I think it's a lie.
Yeah.
And I let him down so I could get his diapers ready. And somebody said, "Hold on, that's all I remember." And I saw white.
Just give him back to me again. Look please. How she looks in the camera, and this dude. Oh my God, these people, man. But that was a great comment. Not one freaking The mom initially said that she heard someone say "Hola," then was tapped on the shoulder, hit on the head before. Okay. Yeah, maybe more than a day before. And the day before, they asked if there were cameras, so the baby may have been dead already 2 days ago. You know what I mean? When was the baby last seen? That's what we want to know. Was a healthy baby, past tense. Yeah, I agree. Priorities. Here you go. The sister keeps repeating, "My brother this, my brother that, my brother," trying to protect her brother. Hate to some is it up so good, so soon. But I believe the father harmed the child, horrible mother covering it up. I agree with you. Oh, did I find it? No. The mother said, "Give us back our son, don't harm my son." She didn't say "don't harm our son," but "my son," because that shows me that he harmed the son. Someone has come forward saying they're inquiring about camera. Yes, I thought it was the day before. I'm not sure. Is this premeditated? Um, let's wait. Let me wait with that. Somebody break into their car. Yeah, exactly. That's it. The couple gave a story. Yeah, you got it. Black Opal. About someone that tried to. Yeah, yeah, law enforcement knew. Well, let me see this comment here. Well, guys, what did I miss, man? I always miss something. Nothing I see right now. Well, you know what? I need a break, and I hope that something great comes my way because this. Oh my goodness, dude, that woman. Let me know, people, what I missed. Always do that. Okay, and I see you next time.